were here earlier today for those who were around. And we promised to come back, and here we are. We came back a second time. Came back a second time. I want to be very brief and let Dr. West say a word. I know there are others who haven't spoken yet, and I feel like we're monopolizing them. We've been here twice again already today. We appreciate it. Dr. West and I came back tonight because he was on Anderson Cooper on CNN, and he insisted that they take him live from this protest. Dr. West was just on CNN on the corner right there with you as the backdrop, and that's a great picture. And then we both appeared together on Keith Olbermann. We just came off of Keith's show. And so we're doing everything we can to try to get this message out. I believe as a member of the media on public television, especially on public television and public radio, it is my mission. It's my mandate, it's my calling, my vocation, my purpose to try to get Americans who don't get this to re-examine the assumptions they hold. My job is to try to help them to expand their inventory of ideas. My job on public TV and public radio is to try to get them to look at this country and the crisis of this country through a different prism. That's the job that I try to do every day on public TV and public radio. So I'm always honored to be a part of a struggle that's trying to get America to wrestle with its own demons, wrestle with its own challenges, its own crises. I want to just share with you, when Dr. West and I appeared on Keith's show just a moment ago on current television, one of the questions that he asked us, because this critique is moving around the country, that this movement is 99% white. And Dr. West and I just pushed back on that lie on national television. This is multicultural, this is multiracial, this is multi-ethnic. This protest is a microcosm of this city, and it's a microcosm of this country. That's what this protest is all about. And I just came back right quick to say, for those of us who live and work, or who live and are trying to work in this so-called city of the angels, I came back to say that if we are serious about taking our future into our own hands, when persons, I know we're streaming live right now, so I'm talking to folk right now who are not here. Folk who are not here right now, but know that they're catching hell. Know that they can't find a job. Know that they can't afford their student loans. Know that they're living back home with their mom and them. Know that they don't have access to health care, etc., etc., etc. If you have a legitimate grievance, this is where you need to be. I said to Keith when Keith asked whether or not there was a problem with the fact that the movement at the moment doesn't have a cohesive or coherent message, that there isn't a laundry list of demands. I said, who said? I like this right here. But who said that there aren't a variety of legitimate grievances here at this protest? About jobs, about getting out of Iraq and Afghanistan, about having access to health care, etc., etc. So there are a lot of issues here, a lot of legitimate grievances, and I'm convinced that if we keep making enough noise, somebody's got to start asking questions about what does matter to us. The worst thing you can do to a human being is to make him or her feel invisible, to make them feel disposable, to make them feel like they're a calculation or they are an afterthought. And there's too much of that in this country. The humanity of too many people is being contested every day. What we are fighting against is the contestation of the humanity of too many Americans of all races, colors, creeds, etc. So I came back tonight to talk to CNN and to talk to Keith and of course my own show on PBS and on NPR and PRI, but to try to raise your voice through the voice and the platform that I have. For all those watching on this live stream right now, this is the place you need to be. Our voices have to be heard. Our grievances have to be raised. Please welcome America's leading intellectual.
love for poor people, our love for working people, our love for all of those who are catching hell. Don't let anybody say this movement is about hating people. We hate injustice and we love people, especially those who are when we talk about corporate greed, we draw the connection between the corporate greed, not just on Wall Street, that has been involved in criminal behavior in the form of market manipulation and insider trading and fraudulent behavior and predatory lending, but also the corporate greed in the prison industrial complex. We've got a broad vision. We've got brothers right now on strike, on lockdown, been on solitary confinement for 20-some years. That takes courage. Why? Because we're concerned about the humanity of each and every person. We don't care what color, what culture, what civilization, what gender. But the weapons of mass distraction to try to cultivate addiction and self-medication and narcissism, so we're not concerned about public interest and common good. So when we talk about corporate greed, we don't have the demands like we got one or two demands with all of the creative voices here. No, we got a cacophony of voices. We're like the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Everybody got all the different voices, and Duke is not conducting. He just got one voice among others, but he's on the piano doing his thing. That's democracy in action at the symbolic point. This is democracy in action on the ground. Everybody telling you that somehow we just a shadow of the Tea Party movement. Individual liberty, but we're concerned about social justice. Democratic accountability of the 1% who own 40% of the wealth and get 25% of the income, the 1% that has got 83% of all the income growth in the last 25 years, and the 10% that got 100% of the income growth, which means what? 40% of our children of all colors living in or near poverty. That is a national disgrace. Our working people and the vicious attack on our trade unions, public unions as well as private, as if they have been the source of the financial catastrophe as opposed to what was going on Wall Street. Let's just tell America the truth. Let's tell America the truth. The condition of truth is always to allow suffering to speak. Suffering from wherever it comes. We are an inclusive group. Tea Party brothers and sisters look like the audience for Lawrence Welk in the National Group. I ain't got nothing against Lawrence Welk and Bubbles. We look more like an audience for Lupe Fiasco. Or we look more like an audience for Carole King and James Taylor. We look more like an audience for Prince. That's the kind of audience we got. But it's our common humanity. So yes, we are open to prophetic Mormon brothers and sisters if they believe that corporate greed ought to be eliminated. Give the prophetic Mormon brothers and sisters a hand right now. For the progressive agnostic and atheistic brothers and sisters. Even for prophetic black Baptists like myself. That's why I'm here too. That's why I put my brother Martin Luther King Jr. Put it back up again. Show brother Martin. Where's brother Martin? Somebody put brother Martin's picture up. That's part of our legacy too. For our prophetic Jewish brothers and sisters, come on, fight corporate greed. This is part of the movement. Brothers and sisters, come join the movement. We cut against the grain. So don't let anybody tell you that we just a shadow of a Tea Party movement. No way. Not only that, but we are international because corporate greed cuts across national boundaries, and we know we got to cut radically against the grain, and that's why it's a blessing for me to be here and I know this the second time, and I don't want anybody to think just because I'm around a whole lot that somehow I have some weight of gravity. I'm just one small voice among all